G'day everybody, welcome back to a brand new video on the YouTube channel, and with footy being back in less than a week, I thought it would be a great time for me to upload my 2024 AFL ladder predictions. So if you enjoy this video, please make sure to smash that like and subscribe button. Enough wasting your time, let's get straight into the video. In number 18, I've got North Melbourne. Now, many people are expecting this club to rise up a bit this year, but I personally believe that even though they do have Zach Fisher and a few good drafties, I don't actually see this club improving too much. I don't see them, the drafties and Zach Fisher, having too much of an impact on this club in 2024. In fact, I actually kind of feel as if this club is going to fall down a little bit this year and slowly make a way up in the future. But at the moment, I'm just going to leave them at 18th. In 17th place, I've got the Essendon Bombers. And the reasoning behind this is the fact that they haven't really had any massive changes over the off-season, which kind of makes me feel as if this club can fall all the way down to bottom 2, and whatever Brad Scott is doing over at the club, it needs to change. In 16th position, could be kind of a shock for you guys, but it's the Richmond Tigers. The reasoning behind this is, Dustin Martin isn't really as good as he used to be, and Jack Riewoldt, he's retired now, and over the past couple of years we've kind of seen this club slowly fall down the ladder ever since their previous premiership, and yeah, I just don't really see this club doing too well this season. In 15th spot, rising up a little bit since last year, is the West Coast Eagles, and I genuinely do think that this club can rise up heaps this year now that they have Harley Reid, who played an absolutely sensational game against Freo in the pre-season match. So I definitely think they can use Harley Reid to their advantage and potentially secure themselves a lot higher than they were last year. Coming in at 14th on the ladder, I've got the Hawthorn Hawks. The reason I think the Hawks can improve a lot more this year is because now that they have Gold Coast's best forward, Mabior Chol, and Premiership player Jack Ginnivan, I think these two can make a massive impact on the club in 2024. And to be honest, I reckon maybe in 2025, they could be back to playing some finals footy. In 13th spot, still kind of around the same skill level as they were last year, I've got the Freo Dockers. Now, yes, they have lost Lachie Schultz now that he's gone to the Pies, but quite frankly, I don't really see them losing Lachie Schultz being too big of a deal over at the club. I think this club can probably stay around the same skill level, and I think this club can probably win a few games that they aren't favourites to win, and probably just secure themselves around the same ladder position as they were last year. In 12th spot, falling down heaps from their previous year, is the St Kilda Saints. A few people have this club rising up a lot this year, and a few people have this club falling down a lot this year. But yeah, I personally think they're going to go down to 12th. Quite frankly, I don't actually see how they happened to make finals last year. And I actually don't really have too much of a reason on why I'm putting them in 12th besides, they're lacking a few good players. And I just don't really see how this club is going to play well this year. In 11th spot, we've got the Gold Coast Suns. And the reason I have this club improving heaps this year is because now they have Damien Hardwick as the coach. A few people actually have this club rising up to the point where they can make finals. I definitely do see that happening maybe in 2025 or 2026, but we do have to realise that they have lost Mabior Chol now, which is going to impact the club heaps. But yeah, they're definitely still going to improve heaps this year, and I think it's safe to say that they can place 11th. In 10th spot, I have them moving up 2 places this year, is the Geelong Cats. I don't think this club can improve too much this year, but I think over the next couple of years, they can slowly make their way back up to the ladder. And I can potentially see this club, placing high again once Chris Scott, gets the boys back into the shape that they were all the way back in 2022. Number 9 on the ladder. This club's kind of hard to predict, which is why I've just decided to chuck them into the exact same spot that they were last year, and that's the Western Bulldogs. The reason I find this club hard to predict is, the fact that they've lost Bailey Smith due to injury. I definitely don't think that they can improve this year now that they don't have Bailey Smith. But quite frankly, I just don't see them falling off now, considering that they've got Marcus Montempelli, who is a potential Brownlow contender. So yeah, that's why this club's sort of hard to predict. I've just decided to chuck them in 9th. But yeah, I just really don't know how this club's going to go this year. In 8th spot, I have the Melbourne Demons. I actually originally had this club, improving heaps this year, potentially even making top 3. But the reason I have chosen to put them in 8th is Angus Brayshaw has recently announced his retirement, and Brodie Grundy has gone to Sydney. So I feel like this is going to be kind of a bad year for Melbourne. It's really not looking good for them. Yes, I still have them making finals, but I think they can just barely crack the top 8. Coming in at number 7, I've got the Adelaide Crows. The reason I do think this is because a lot of their players are getting older now, and they're kind of getting better as they get older. Even though this isn't really a club that people are expecting, to improve this year, I definitely think the Crows have huge potential in 2024. Which is why I have them in the top 8. In number 6, potentially a really big call is the Sydney Swans. I have them this high up for one reason, the fact that they've got Brodie Grundy, who had a huge impact over at the Melbourne Demons, and they've also got Taylor Adams, who previously played for a premiership winning side. So now that the Swans have got both of these two players, I definitely see them putting up a huge fight in 2024 and potentially being one of the better clubs this year. And number 5, shouldn't really be too big of a shock for you guys, is Port Adelaide. I mean, they put up a pretty good fight against GWS in the semi-finals last year. Even though they did happen to lose, it was still a really good game between the two. And I honestly don't see why this club wouldn't still be making finals this year. And quite frankly, I kind of feel as if their best 22 is slightly better than it was last year. Coming in at number 4, we have the GWS Giants, and we actually do need to realise how much this club improved last year. They went from 16th of the ladder in 2022 to making a prelim against the Pies in 2023, which kind of makes me feel as if the Giants are going to stay consistent this year and place really high in 2024, and maybe even potentially making another grand final in 2025. In third of the ladder, I have the Brisbane Lions, and yes, in my early ladder predictions, I actually did have this club, winning the premiership, and this club definitely will be a good side this year, considering, they only lost by under a goal in the grand final. And now they have picked up Tom Doedee during the AFL trade, this club definitely can stay consistent this year and place decently high. But I just don't see this club making another grand final this year. In second place is the Collingwood Magpies. I do see this club playing absolutely amazing footy this year, just as well as they did last year. And I don't see this being one of the clubs that happen to have a premiership hangover like we saw previously with Geelong. And even though I am a Collingwood supporter, I just don't see this club being able to go back-to-back this year. As much as I would love it to happen, I just don't see it happening. Now that we've lost Dan McStay to an injury, and Taylor Adams and Jack Ginnivan have both gone to 2 different clubs, I still think we can play well this year with the players that we do have, but I just don't see us being able to go back-to-back this year. And first on the ladder, the 2024 premiers will be Carlton. The reason I have this club winning a premiership this year is, firstly, I think a Collingwood versus Carlton grand final, I think the atmosphere there would be absolutely insane, better than any other grand final that we have had. But also, we're seeing players like Charlie Curnow and Patrick Cripps, improve heaps over the past few years. And I think they're kind of at that point where they're in their prime. And we've definitely seen this club improve heaps over the past few years, with them placing 13th in 2021, 9th in 2022, and finally 5th in 2023. And I think they can keep improving this year, and I think they can improve to the point where they can go all the way this season. Alrighty, well that is it everyone for my ladder predictions. If you guys did enjoy this video, once again, please make sure to smash that like and subscribe button, and feel free to comment below where you think your team is going to place this year. See you guys in the next video.